The Braxton family has never been short on drama, but this latest rumor has fans doing double takes and side eyes all across social media. Towanda Braxton recently stirred up chaos by hinting that Tamar Braxton may have allegedly messed around with Birdman. Yes, the same Birdman who was romantically linked to her sister, the legendary Toni Braxton. It's the kind of gossip that sounds too wild to be true, but when it comes to the Braxton sisters, nothing ever stays simple. The whispers started with Towanda's cryptic comments, followed by fans doing their own digging. Some pointed out that Google itself lists Birdman as having briefly dated Tamar Braxton during their early days in the music industry, long before Toni and Birdman's relationship went public. Now, that little nugget of information has snowballed into full-blown speculation that Tamar may have been involved with Birdman before her sister ever was. But here's the thing. Just because Tamar and Birdman may have crossed paths romantically years ago doesn't mean she was creeping around. Even the person telling the story admitted she doesn't believe Tamar is that kind of woman. Still, Towanda's comments added a dangerous spark to a family that already thrives on emotional fireworks. It's worth remembering that Birdman and Toni's relationship was as unconventional as it was unpredictable. After years of friendship and on-and-off rumors, they secretly tied the knot in August 2024. 2 weeks later, Toni filed for divorce, claiming the marriage was irretrievably broken. By January 2025, she withdrew the petition, leaving fans scratching their heads about whether they were together, broken up, or somewhere in between. That kind of back-and-forth chaos is already enough to fuel endless gossip. But adding Tamar's name into the mix? That turns a confusing love story into a full-on family scandal. Now, what makes all this so interesting is how Tamar has always been painted within the Braxton dynamic. Emotional, outspoken, and to some, a little messy. She's never been the quiet one. But for those who followed her story closely, Tamar's boldness often comes from pain. She's spoken about growing up feeling misunderstood, ignored, and mistreated both within her family and the industry. Her personality, as loud and dramatic as it may appear, is rooted in a lifetime of fighting to be heard. So when someone like Towanda throws a bombshell accusation like this one, Tamar doesn't just take it lightly. She reacts with passion, frustration, and fire. Because in her eyes, this isn't just gossip. It's another attempt to tear her down. Towanda's track record doesn't exactly help her credibility either. According to the video's narrator, she's allegedly been accused of stealing from her own sister, even using her credit cards. That history makes the accusation toward Tamar feel like deflection, the kind of desperate move someone makes when they're cornered and trying to shift the spotlight. So when Tamar clapped back with that cryptic post saying, "It never gave her but it always have thief," she wasn't just throwing shade. She was setting the record straight in true Tamar fashion. The irony is that if you follow the timeline, Tamar being linked to Birdman would have come before Toni ever got involved with him. Meaning, if anyone recycled a relationship here, it wasn't Tamar. It was Toni. That's why so many fans are side-eyeing Towanda's claim. It just doesn't add up. Tamar couldn't have stolen a man who wasn't yet her sister's. It's the classic case of twisted storytelling, where a little truth gets stretched into scandal. Still, what makes this all hit harder is the Braxton family's history of jealousy and competition. For years, viewers of Braxton family values watched as Tamar's star power began to outshine her sister's. She was the breakout personality, the fan favorite, the one who made the headlines. And that success came with a price. The tension between her and her sisters grew, and the line between sisterhood and rivalry blurred. So when Towanda throws accusations, it doesn't feel random. It feels rooted in that long-standing resentment. Tamar, for her part, seems to have had enough. Over the years, she's tried to rebuild herself after trauma, toxic relationships, and mental health struggles. She's been open about her battles with depression, her public breakdowns, and her journey to find peace. And yet, every time she seems to be healing, her family name gets dragged back into the mud. The same people she shares blood with seem to be the ones reopening her wounds. That's why this rumor hits different. It's not just about who dated who. It's about a woman trying to protect her name from being twisted yet again by the people closest to her. And honestly, the situation with Toni isn't much clearer. Her relationship with Birdman has been one of the most confusing in celebrity history, full of secrecy, rumors, and mixed signals. One minute they're just friends, the next they're married, then divorced, then back together again. It's like watching a soap opera in real life. Fans love Toni, but they can't ignore the fact that her love life has often been chaotic. Getting married and filing for divorce 2 weeks later raises more questions than it answers. And it certainly doesn't help when her sister is being accused of having history with the same man. The deeper you look into it, the more it feels like Towanda's accusation wasn't about truth. It was about attention. She's always been one of the quieter Braxton sisters, often overshadowed by Toni's fame and Tamar's bold personality. Throwing out a scandalous rumor puts her right back in the headlines. But the problem with stirring the pot is that eventually the heat burns everyone, and this time it might have gone too far. The dynamic between the Braxton sisters has always been complex. They love each other deeply but compete just as fiercely. And in families where fame and money mix with ego and emotion, the line between love and rivalry gets razor thin. Tamar has always been the lightning rod of that tension. Outspoken, emotional, and unfiltered. But what some call drama might just be the side effect of being constantly misunderstood in a family that thrives on secrets. Whether or not Tamar and Birdman ever had a brief connection doesn't even seem to be the real issue here. The bigger story is the way the Braxtons tear each other apart in public, and how quickly they weaponize personal history to score points. Towanda may think she's calling out Tamar, but all she's really doing is reminding fans why this family's dysfunction has become legendary in the first place. In the end, the truth about Tamar and Birdman might never fully come out, and maybe it doesn't need to. What matters more is how this family keeps repeating the same toxic patterns. Every time one of them tries to move forward, another one pulls them back into chaos. Maybe it's time the Braxtons stop trying to prove who's right or wrong and start dealing with the hurt that's been festering for years. Because if they don't, this cycle of betrayal and bitterness will keep going until there's nothing left but resentment. So guys, what do you think? Did Tamar really have something going on with Birdman before Toni, or is Towanda just stirring up trouble for clout? And what's really behind the Braxton family's constant tension? Jealousy, misunderstanding, or deep emotional wounds that never healed? Let's talk about it in the comments below.